So don't buy this business. I've been a business broker for coming up to 20 years, and I can tell you categorically that this is not a good business to buy. So don't buy this business, and I'll tell you why in a second. So I regularly get asked, what business should I buy? But the question should be turned around the other way, and it should really be, well, what business should I not buy? I mean, there are some businesses out there which just aren't worth buying. But then every business has its own buyer. Every business has someone who will want to buy it. So it's a little bit of a counter argument, I guess. So it does depend on what you want out of a business. But when it comes to business sales, business broking, this business is what I would suggest you don't buy. Yeah, I know. I said last week that I was going back into the office and that holidays were over. But hey, the sun's shining, it's beautiful. Why shouldn't I be out? Now, I did go back into the office just for a day or so, but it's a holiday long weekend and, oh, well, beautiful summer weather. So, yep, I'm back on holiday for a few days, but I will be back in the office in the next couple of days. Maybe. So let's just step back a little bit before we go into what you shouldn't buy. And let's look at, why do people buy businesses? Well, fundamentally, there are three reasons people buy businesses, and they may not be exactly what you think they would be. Now, the obvious reason is people want the money. They want the profit. They want to earn a living, if you like, build a business, put the kids through school, pay the mortgage, put food on the table, whatever it is. But ultimately, they want a business because they want to make money. And that's perfectly fine. It's a good enough reason as any to have a business. But there are other reasons as well. And if you think about it, owning a business is like buying time. By investing in a business and having a business making money for you, you can get to buy time, have time off. And you might want to have time off with the kids. You want to go on holiday. You want to play golf, fishing, I don't know, whatever it is. But by owning a business, you allow yourself more time than punching that 9 to 5 clock. So buying time is one of the major reasons people also will buy a business. I don't know about you, but the idea of working 40, 50 hours a week, every single week, not being able to go to the kids' sports days, not being able to play golf, not being able to do the things you want to do, isn't that appealing. And that is one of the strong reasons why people leave employment and go and buy a business or own a business. So aside from freedom, which again we've just talked about, the other thing that people buy a business for is because they want to build equity. They want to put an investment into something they can sell. I mean, you know the story. You buy a house, you pay the mortgage off. Over time, the value of that house increases, so the value of your investment increases, and you can sell it for a profit. Well, a business is no different, and it's called building equity in a business. So you buy the business, you run it well, it makes good money, and you build that equity in that business. So when it's time to retire, you can sell that business for hopefully a goodly amount of money. That's where I come in as a business broker. But you can sell that business, realize that equity, take that capital gain, if you like, on all that investment and all that hard work, and retire and, well, I don't know, live happily ever after, whatever it is you want to do. I don't know what you want to do when you retire, but by building equity in a business, it gives you that money, that cash in the bank, if you like, to do what you want to do when you sell out. Okay, so we've talked about why people buy a business, and we've talked about what their motivation is, but we haven't actually talked about what a business actually is. What's the definition of a business? Now, when I was business coaching, we defined a business as a commercial, profitable enterprise. Let me say that again. A commercial, profitable enterprise. But the caveat on the end of that was that operated without you. Now, that's a true business. A business is a business that has systems, processes, people, and operates without you actually being there every day, having to do the work and having to run that business. So commercial, profitable enterprise that works without you. At least that's one of the definitions. Look, there's plenty of different definitions, and over to you as to which one you want to use, but that's the one I like the best. Okay, so what's the definition of a job? Well, you get up every day at a certain time, you go somewhere, do something for a certain period of time, and at the end of the day you finish usually at a certain time, and you get paid for the work that you've done. And you do that 5 days a week, 3 days a week, 7 days a week, whatever it is that the hours are. But you're governed by the hours you put in versus the dollars you put back. Now, normally that's jobs owned by someone else, the business is owned by someone else, and they're employing you, so you have to do what they say. Well, you know what it's like to own a job. So a job is different from a business because you lack that independence and you lack the right to do whatever it is that, well, you want to do. But hang on, I hear you say, I'm self-employed. I don't have a job. But have a think about this. Doesn't necessarily mean you've got a business either. You might be self-employed, but just because you're self-employed does not mean you have a business. Go back to thinking about the definition that we made of a business. A business is a commercial, profitable enterprise that works without you. So if you are self-employed, if you do own a business, but it doesn't operate without you, then you've really just bought a job, haven't you? You've bought that same 9-to-5 grind. You get up in the morning, you do the work, you get paid for the work, and you come home. And if you don't do the work doesn't get done. So yes, you might be self-employed, but basically you own a job. Yes, I know, I can hear you saying it now. Oh, look, I'm self-employed and I get these great tax write-offs and tax benefits, and I can claim my expenses, and I can claim my phone, and I can claim my car running costs, and I can claim my boat, I don't know, whatever it is you want to claim holidays. So yes, I'm self-employed and I get great tax benefits from it, so it's worth it. Well, yes, it probably is. I'm not really arguing with that. But you don't own a business. You own a job. It's as simple as that. You may have tax benefits for being self-employed, but it's not a business you own, it's a job. And I'm going to give you some examples and tell you why now. By the way, if you're going to argue with me, that's fine. Stick it in the comments below. Happily having a discussion, a robust discussion with you as to whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong. And I've been wrong before, so I'm not afraid to admit it. But if you think I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. That'd be great. Now, just to be clear, I'm not saying being a sole trader, being self-employed, running your own operation, buying a job, whatever it is a bad thing. It's not. If it's good for you, then it's a great idea. I'm just saying it's not a business. Now, when the crunch comes is when you go to sell that business. Now, remember, we talked about building equity, and building equity to give you something to sell, some money in your retirement, or just when you choose to cash out, do something different, you can sell that business for a good capital gains. Now, this is where that sole trader, buy a job, self-employed thing, this is where it comes unstuck. They masquerade as businesses and people try and sell them as businesses, but they're just not a business. And I'll tell you why. For a business to be saleable, it has to have goodwill. Now that goodwill has to be transferable to the new owner. So that goodwill must be in the business, not in the owner. Now people will buy a business if they see that goodwill is transferable. They'll pay good money for a business if that goodwill is transferable. But where this whole thing falls down about the buy a job and sole trader is the goodwill is invariably sitting in the person. It's sitting in the person running the business, mainly because they are the business. And let me give you some examples of how that works in practice. Now, the obvious ones are things like lawn mowing rounds, there's things like mechanical workshops, there those sort of small tradey, home handyman type businesses where you ring up Jack and you say, Jack, come around and do some work for me. And Jack comes around and does some work. You're not ringing City Lawn and Gardens and they go, yep, I'll send one of our 25 people around to mow your lawns. No, you're ringing Jack and Jack sends his around. So there's a very big difference in terms of the transferable goodwill. Now, I like Jack. He's a nice bloke. I get on well with him. He comes around and mows my lawns and I pay him the money. Everything's great. But when he goes to sell the business, what if I don't like the guy he sells to? What if I don't get on well with him? Or maybe someone else has been knocking on the door and I think, no, I really like Jack, I'm going to stay with him. So that goodwill, if you like, is with Jack and it's not with the business, so very hard to transfer. So that's what makes those one man in a van or one woman in a van, if you like, or those single person owner operator, sole trader operations so hard to sell. It's that concentration of the goodwill. The other issues around that is there's often a lot of cashies, if you like, a lot of undeclared earnings. And how do you value undeclared earnings? Well, you simply can't, because if they're undeclared, they don't exist. So how do you value them? So when you come to buy one of those and you're looking at the business, you're going, well, where's the earnings? How are you doing that? Oh, trust me, the earnings are there, but you don't know for sure. So it is fraught with a little bit of difficulty, and the risk is high. So while these one-man band, if you like, buy a job businesses do sell, they are hard to sell for very, very big money. They inevitably sell for a very small value, generally well less than 1 year's profit. Now, most businesses, as you know, are valued on the profit they're generating, and good big businesses will get 3, 4, 5 times the profit per year that they're generating. But these owner-operator, man-in-a-van kind of businesses, if you can get even 1 year, you're doing incredibly well. And most smart buyers will not pay that much for them. It's just simply too risky for them to do that. Yes, I know. I'm sure there's some exceptions who have sold for more than that. There always is exceptions. I mean, that's how you make the rule, isn't it? The exception proves the rule. But the fundamental issue is the value of them and how they value and how you build equity. And let me give you an example. You can go out there now and you can buy a lawn mowing round, and you might pay $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for this lawn mowing round. And the franchise company that sells you that lawnmower round, they will guarantee the revenue of your business for a year, sometimes 2. So that revenue is guaranteed. You've paid 50 grand as an example. You've got guaranteed revenue for the next 2 years. Okay, so you don't want to buy a franchise. You want to buy Jack's lawn mowing round, and that's fine. So you go to Jack and you go, how much do you want for your lawn mowing round? He goes, oh, I've got some good customers and got some good stuff. I said, I want 75 or 100 grand. And then you say to him, well, how much are you going to guarantee me? Well, nothing. It's a business you're buying. And if you do something wrong and the customers leave, that's on you, not me. So I'm not going to guarantee anything. So hang on a minute. You're going to pay sometimes twice as much, but certainly 50% more than buying a lawn mowing round franchise with guaranteed income, just because it's a going concern and Jack thinks it's a good business. See, it just doesn't work. The numbers don't add up. The logic doesn't add up. Why would you buy Jack's business when you can go and buy a brand new franchise and get guaranteed revenue? Doesn't make sense to me. So if you haven't figured it out by now, the business that I'm saying don't buy is an owner-operator, single person, man in a van, woman in a van kind of business. You just won't get the capital gains out of it. You won't buy the freedom that you're looking for. If you don't do the work, it doesn't get done. So how can you take Friday off and go and see the kids play at school or whatever it is that they're doing? The work doesn't get done. So man in a van business, woman in a van business, keep away from them. Okay, that's fine, but what size business should you buy? Well, have a look at that video up there. That'll give you the answer to that. Thanks for watching. See you again.